How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, we're going to focus today on this continuous saga, the government shutdown, and this ignorant ass president. So many know yesterday Trump met with Schumer and Pelosi, and Trump got up in his feelings when they wouldn't go for his fuckery. In fact, he went as far as when he came in, he passed out candy and all the things that he do. And I know many did get to see this fake ass speech. He's not good at giving speeches at all, because he's disingenuous, and you can feel that he doesn't have a soul or a spirit or anything, and he doesn't give a damn. He doesn't give a damn, our royal family. And I was just really doing a lot of research on this and reading a lot of articles, and I was like, shit, where do I start at? So I'm not going to read anything today because it speaks for itself. And one thing that Trump is good at doing is creating a lot of dissension and chaos. And I'm going to give my reason why I know why he's doing what he is doing. So let's first listen to this video. Some heard it, but you want to refresh folks. And I'm just going to focus right now on some people who have been affected by it, by this shutdown, which will be the federal workers.
I can relate, and I'm sure that the people that are on the receiving end will make adjustment. They always do, and they'll make adjustment. People understand exactly what's going on. But many of those people that won't be receiving a paycheck, many of those people agree 100% with what I'm doing. And I will tell you, I just saw a poll, 75%. It was on Fox. But I just saw a poll, 75% that immigration is so important. And it is. It's a very big issue.
When will you leave federal workers who are falling out sick right now?
Look, they have to do what they have to do. But many of those workers agree with me. And I think, frankly, there's been very little of that so far, as you know, very, very little.
Certainly the president understands that. There's no question that the shutdown has costs, which is why we've been negotiating or trying to negotiate now since before the shutdown began. But you just said something I have to push back on a little bit, which is that the president's demand is the reason the government is shut down. That's certainly one side of the coin, but keep in mind, it takes two to tango in this town. I could just as easily say that it's the Democrats' refusal to give the necessary money for border security that is the cause of the shutdown. We get all of that. We're not interested in laying any blame. The president really does believe that you could solve this in 10 minutes. We're asking for $5.6 billion. They're offering us zero. It sounds like we're simply arguing about one variable, which is how much are we going to spend on that barrier on the southern border, on the wall, on the steel slat fence, whatever you want to call it. This should be relatively simple.
But I was here Christmas. I was here on New Year's Eve. And I will tell you, the people that I've spoken with, and I've gotten to meet a lot of people that I wouldn't have met. A lot of people have been coming through the White House and explaining different things and different attitudes. A lot of people that you think are upset, and certainly they're not thrilled, but they say, sir, do the right thing. We need border security. And these are people that won't be getting paid. Border Patrol yesterday was saying, sir, we're affected by it. Do what's right. It's time. This is after many, many decades. Many, many decades. This should have taken place a long time ago. We're going to get it done.
All right, my royal family. We know that Trump is very delusional. And right here, it just says voters blame Donald Trump for the partial government shutdown. Oh, yeah. When you ain't getting your paycheck and you can't deal with your immediate situation, or you get clarity real quick. And I was hearing about this one couple who are staunch Trump supporters, and wanted folks to know that, and they both work for the government. And the husband said that he didn't care what happened as long as he got his paycheck. Well, now he ain't getting his paycheck, and he ain't a Trump supporter no more. See, when your immediate situation ain't getting taken care of, and you depending on a person that you support to take care of your immediate situation, and they affecting your immediate situation, reality kicks in quickly. So, my royal family, let's continue on. So this title here says, hundreds of federal workers hit by shutdown turn to GoFundMe to raise money. So let's listen to this. This is about a 5-minute video. So let's get into this.
Hundreds of thousands of federal workers, meantime, are working without pay, and they're beginning to feel the impact.
They are losing a combined, get this, $1.4 billion a week. Adriana Diaz spoke to one of the more than 13,000 EPA workers who are wondering how to pay their bills.
It's my job, it's my livelihood, it's how I put food on the table for my children.
When Sarah Watterson left work on New Year's Eve, she still had a job, but no sense of security.
So you have to go to your landlord and say, I don't know how I'm going to pay you. I've never had to do that.
The former Marine now works as an office manager for the EPA in Kansas. How does it feel for someone who has a full-time job, works for the federal government, to have to go to their landlord and ask for, I don't even know what to call it,
mercy?
The mother of 2 is the family's primary breadwinner. She received her last paycheck at the end of December. Have you started thinking about where you might save if this shutdown goes longer?
We're trying to cut the grocery bills just down to the necessities. I mean, we don't live extravagantly, so it's hard to cut out any bills.
Do your kids sense that something's going on?
Absolutely. They want to know why there aren't certain foods in the house. They want to know why we can't go out to eat.
To try to help, the government provided sample letters last month that federal employees can show creditors, explaining why they're struggling to pay their bills. According to the real estate website Zillow, unpaid federal workers will owe $438 million this month in mortgage and rent payments. Do you think it's worth keeping the government shutdown going on in order to potentially get funding for the border wall?
I don't know that it's worth the livelihoods of people. I don't know that anything would be worth that.
That was Adriana Diaz in, Adriana, actually you are here. You're in Lenox, I think it was. So Adriana, the president has said that the shutdown could last months or even years. Is the employee that you spoke to, Sarah Watterson, prepared for anything close to that? Most people can sort of float their bills for maybe a couple of weeks, ask for a delay, but then after that, they start to run into problems.
She's getting very concerned, Anne-Marie, because she said 2019 was supposed to be the year where they finally had a little bit of a savings account, and she said they're starting out just barely making it. And she calculated the bill. She is the one that does all the financial planning in the house, and she said she's frustrated because she can't fix this. She can't plan for this. Right now, they've paid their January bills, most of them, but for February, that's going to be the struggle. She has $300 in her bank account right now. Her husband is still getting paid, but his salary doesn't cover the family expenses. She says February 1st is their end date. That is the time where they won't be able to survive past that without getting help from family members or trying to figure out if she's going to have to take on temporary work.
You mentioned in your report there sample letters from the federal government for workers to send to creditors. What was Sarah's reaction to that?
She knew about those sample letters. A lot of federal workers know about them. When we were traveling here to Kansas from Chicago, I spoke to the TSA worker and I said, what do you think of those letters that the government sent out in a tweet? He said, it's an embarrassment. That's what Sarah said also. She said, we shouldn't be in the position where we're having to ask for mercy, as she said, or ask for help or for leniency for something that's out of our control. She says she is proud to be a full-time worker. She wants to go to work. And the fact that the government sent those sample letters was a hard and tough pill to swallow, but she did say she thought that they were probably written up with the best of intentions for the government to help federal employees, because she said the people that wrote those letters are in the same boat as everybody else. People aren't getting paid because of this government shutdown, and she hopes that there's a deal made soon.
So meantime, the EPA does very valuable, important work protecting the rest of us. How many of her colleagues are in the same boat, and how concerned are they, not just about their income, but about the work that's not getting done during this time?
Well, for the EPA in particular, they provide a public service to protect public health. And a lot of the employees at her office are working on projects that clean up toxic situations, that are monitoring the air and the water. And so they've had to put those projects on hold. And some people are concerned that if those projects are on hold for too long, it could affect public health and public safety. Actually, Sarah said that her son was particularly concerned because she said he knows what mommy does, that mommy works to keep us all safe. So seeing her home these past few days and weeks, seeing her home has concerned him, because he said to her, Mom, if you're here, who's keeping everyone safe?
Yeah, you know, out of the mouths of babes, right? Adriana Diaz, thank you so much.
All right, my royal family. So, we will hear more of these stories until they deal with this. Now, the reason why Trump is pulling everything out of his ass to create distractions and dissension and chaos amongst people, because all his life he has been able to be bailed out. He's always been able to be bailed out. He's always talking about, with his limited vocabulary, nice people that work for him. You know, they had got up in his ass a few months ago when he was talking about, you know, the judges that he was talking about put in place. And he was talking about those that, you know, you got your Obama lawyers and your Clinton lawyers and your Trump lawyers. They had to get it on his ass. He was true what he was saying, but, you know, you don't say that. But he's always had people in place to get him out of his negative situations. And I always talk about the nature of many things, my royal family. And the law of nature is hitting his ass as I speak. He has done so much negative shit in his life that now nature is going to pay off. He got to pay up. And it just happened that he's the president of this country and he's doing all these diversion tactics, but Mueller is still doing his investigation and still most shit is being revealed. In fact, they coming after his children. So he think that's going to keep people's mind off of it. Well, there's an importance why we have people do videos here, because I've heard, well, why y'all doing videos? All you do is just read an article and blah, 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 blah. Well, we got to keep these stories alive, my royal family, so we don't lose sight of his fuckery, because this is what we're focusing on and how it's affecting people's immediate situation. And then I always say this also, my royal family, look at everything with your spiritual eyes. We got to look at this spiritually too as well. And there's many that say that the good book, it's all fake, all of it. Some people literally will say that. And I have enough sense to know that, yeah, it's been touched by folks and people have tried to desecrate it and do what they do and take parts out and hide it. But you can't stop prophecy, because the divine hand is all in work in this. We are watching Babylon fall before our eyes. It makes me think about something that my grandfather, bless his heart, told me in Phoenix, Arizona. I'll never forget this, in the 80s. And he told me that in history, this will be recorded as the dumbest, the shortest empire that we have ever seen. So we got to remember, my royal family, that we ran our empires for centuries. For centuries. They ain't even ran this motherfucker for 300 years. Do you think they'll get there? Do you think they'll get there? Think about the things that are happening in the universe. Think about the eclipses. Think about the blood moons. Think about the weather and nature. Oh, nature gonna continue to do what nature do. He gonna tear a hole in a lining in America. And the American people gonna need help from the government. And he's already talking about, I'll shut down FEMA. I'll shut down this. I'll shut down that. So every single day gets intense. Now you see why, my royal family, when I said, when they released us from, unquote, physical slavery in 1865, in fact, November of 1865, what they should have done to us is fatten us up for the kill. We ain't nervous, because we know how to survive. We'll do what we got to do. Now, this is another example, my royal family, of based on the things that are happening in America, things that are naturally happening, because some of our folks is being affected by this too as well. We're going to naturally come together because we left no choice, because we can't depend on America. We never could and never have. So we know what it's like to survive. And just that little example that I showed you on that video, old fatback, she worried about, she ain't gonna get no bread, to put in the oven and eat. So homegirl, she gonna have a natural weight loss, because it's affecting their immediate situation. See, our true enemies, their immediate situation has pretty much always been taken care of. And you can't look to us, because y'all always find a reason to look to us, to blame us for something. No, you're going to have to look at your daddy. Yes, look at him. Gaze at him. Because I'm telling you something I know from the depths of my soul. Nature going to pay off. Trump is feeling as I speak. And when that very thing that happens to Trump, and I would know it will happen, I will point it out to the royal family. I'm speaking coded right now, my royal family, and I must do. But mark my words. Oh, mark my words. Trump is feeling. Trump ain't sleeping. Trump is real worried. Oh, yeah. The divine hand is going to whoop your white ass. So, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful, divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.